Hey there guys, different setting for recording in again, as usual. It seems to be all over the place, that's why I haven't gone and done a video yet. So yeah, I've been meaning to do another tinnitus video, because I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago. There was someone that I asked in the comments, because I forget, I forget that a lot of people that are sub to me, you guys, obviously. Who else would I be talking to? But yeah, a lot of people that are sub to me would be interested in hearing how my own personal progress is going with the tinnitus. So yeah, I want to do an update about that. I've wanted to do one for a few weeks. But, it had been a hectic while, and then the past week or two I've been trying to get round to it. Things have been busy, as you can tell. Different location, all that sort of thing. So, yeah. There's been all sorts going on, so I don't know where to start. Basically, with my tinnitus, personally, it's been stable for about the past 3 months. It hasn't decreased much. It hadn't spiked in all that time. So, I took that as fucking amazing, to be honest. I thought that was a brilliant thing. I thought that was wonderful. Just the fact that it's stable, at a level I wasn't bothered by. Content in the fact that as long as I keep working on the emotional stuff, it will over time get better and better. Sorry, my mic is here, led rubbishly. I don't know what the sound is like, but yeah. So I was content with that, very content to just, leave it be, let it go at whatever pace. But recently I've been experimenting with some more stuff. I've been meditating a bit differently. There's not really a video on that, to be honest. Not worth making one. Basically, when I'm meditating now, I make a point of trying to... There's different brainwave states you can get into as a human being. There's different ones. Beta, gamma, alpha, all those. I can't remember what order they all go in. But basically, beta or beta, however you pronounce it, that's the high-end, active, overthinky, anxious, terrified brainwave state, that kind of thing. It's the state that most people are in, most adults are in, to one degree or another throughout their entire waking lives, and there's different degrees of beta, absolutely, it's the high end of it, where the brainwaves go up, where you're really anxious and worried. Us tinnitus sufferers, we're basically in that state all the time, to one degree or another. Most of us are in that end of it. And those periods where the tinnitus comes down, I've no doubt if you scan the brain or whatever, the brain would be vibrating lower. You'd be calmer, your nervous system will be more relaxed, all that sort of thing. So yeah, I've been meditating with the goal to try to get more into the alpha state, which is a state where you're still awake, you're conscious, all that, but you're very relaxed. It's the state you get into when you get in the zone. You know what I mean? You get in the zone. A lot of people, other video gamers watching, you might find that when you get into a particularly good video game and you get engrossed in it, that's the state you're in. Or playing sports, that kind of thing, various different things. It's different for everyone. Watching a comedy that you get sucked into and you completely surrender, I guess you'd call it, to the humor of it. You relax, you stop being so overthinking, you stop being so overly hypersensitive and all that sort of thing. You calm down a lot, and so the way I'm aiming my meditation is because, I've been reading a couple of books and stuff on dealing with emotional issues, basically. One of them was called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. I think it was Joe Dispenza. I can't remember how it's pronounced, but I've mentioned it a few times in the comments. And yeah, it's quite an out there book, don't get me wrong, but the basic idea is based on solid stuff, which is if you can meditate and you can get into those deeper states, if you can relax more, you become more susceptible to change. It's easier to break certain psychological, mental or emotional habits, you know what I mean? It's much easier to stop being overly neurotic or worried or anxious or any of these different types of emotional or mental habits we've got that are stressful. It's easier to stop those if you get into the alpha brainwave state first and then try it. So with the meditation stuff, I've just been trying to spend more time in the day in a less thinky place, and that's worked quite well. To begin with, it was actually spiking my tinnitus a tiny bit, not significantly enough that I would say much, but when I was doing the meditation, I could feel the tinnitus come down. Like I could literally almost feel it activating and deactivating in different places of the head. The sound was kind of bouncing about, which is a very strange thing to try to describe, or, don't know if anyone's experienced it like that, but that's the thing, we're all unique with our tinnitus. It will be different for every one of us, but yeah. So, while doing the meditation, I felt that, but the problem was, I was very much, and I'm using it for other health stuff as well, trying to get rid of certain emotional habits and things like that, things that I was locked into, and it sort of brought it right to the surface, where I was basically going into meditation with almost viewing it like combat, or something. You know, it was very much a case of, I wasn't going into it with the frame of mind of, yeah, I'll just sit and relax here and it will be nice. It was, no, I'm going to do this, my body will do this, this will change, which is exactly the thing I say you need to avoid with meditation. But that's the problem. It's an emotional thing we've got to deal with to get the tinnitus to come down. You know, it's emotions, and we'll all have our blind spots there, and mine's like that. You know, I've got control issues of some kind, you know, to whatever degree. I was very much trying to force my body to respond a certain way, and that don't fucking work at all. That's not how it works with meditation and things like that. Like I've said many times, you know, I can say the words on it as many times as I like. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm brilliant at it myself. If I was, my tinnitus would be cured by now. It's a constant process of learning and practicing and letting go of these stressful things, and practicing more positive emotional things, you know, being more optimistic, being more laid back, genuinely, not just outwardly. You know, like many people always say, I know people with tinnitus who are laid back, you know, how can they have it if they're not stressed? Just the outward persona doesn't matter. You know, it's what's going on in here and, you know, inside that matters. So yeah, I've been doing that, and because I was approaching it like that, and not seeing immediate results with various bits, I was getting hung up on that. I was getting completely stuck on that bit of the process. How do you get from being here to being there, where you want to be? You know, and yeah, it was aggravating me. You know, I was struggling with the meditation, and I started to notice my tinnitus went up a bit. You know, other things have happened, but that was a big one. It wasn't like a spike, it was just generally at the high end of where it tends to vary. So, you know, I realized that, and started to cut it out, you know, started to stop the meditation for a bit. I just relaxed, you know, tried to not worry about it so much, and yeah, it's completely normal, you know, it's completely normal again. I'm doing better on that front. I'm doing better overall with being less in the head, less thinky, and that's brought up some interesting stuff, and I really should be doing videos on other types of health stuff that I'm looking into, but yeah, it led me to looking up other things for dealing with emotional blockages. And one of the things I found was called tapping, you know, and most of you will think, guitar, you know, nah, not that kind of tapping at all, though that is fun. But yeah, I think it's called EFT, I don't know about the validity behind this stuff. Apparently there's plenty of research, and it's pretty solid, you know, from the people that like this stuff, that are proponents of it, they say the research is good. The people that are critics of it say it's bloody awful. So, the usual thing with this type of stuff as far as health goes. So yeah, I've been trying that, which is just basically, I'll demo it. My laptop's holding on my legs at the moment, Basically, you tap these acupuncture points. The main ones that I've seen are on the hand, on the head, edge of the eyebrow there. You know, they're not swearing at you, just pointing it out, trying not to block it. The edge of the eyebrow there, under the eye, here under the mouth, and then the collarbone, you know, tip of the collarbone, and then under the armpit somewhere. So yeah, you tap those points, you know, about 5 times, whatever, and you just say aloud about the emotional issue you're having. You try to accept it and you try to let go. Basically, I think the idea is you try to just feel better about it. You try to lessen the emotional, don't know what you'd call it, connection you have to it, I guess. So I've found that really interesting to do with like the tinnitus, you know, just reinforcing things I already believe, but trying to feel it more as opposed to thinking it in words. So I've been doing that. Just, you know, you tap, yeah, I accept completely I have this tinnitus. I accept myself, you know, love, care for yourself, whatever. It's trying to trigger emotional stuff. You know, you're trying to connect to the very core, deep emotions going on. You know, so yeah, just that kind of thing. You know, I love and accept myself with the tinnitus or without it. You know, I accept that I have this. And obviously that will trigger a lot of issue for a lot of people because you don't want to fucking accept that you've got it. And that's completely understandable, but it's a part of the process. I think, for me, when my tinnitus started to improve was when I finally stopped fighting the fact. You know, I stopped all the mental clutter of, I'm in this state, I'm stuck, you know, I'm fucked, yeah, what am I going to do, how am I going to get out of it, you know, I hate this tinnitus, I want it to go away. I started to improve when I stopped fighting that. And I just accepted it. Okay, it's like this. It can get better, for now it's bad. And that's a stage everyone's going to struggle with. Some people I've talked to on it, you know, very smart people, you know, they deal with this stuff, you know. They deal with this stuff with other people. Their jobs are to help coach people through this kind of thing. But when it hits you on an emotional issue, it's a very different thing to try to address. So that's why I think any tools we can get that can help us work through it, like this tapping stuff, I found it's working. I found it's really working quite well. You know, whether that's me, you know, placebo effect or whatever, doesn't matter. If it's working, it's working. And especially with regards to things like tinnitus, you know, digestive issues, things like that, chronic issues that are, you know, they're there because fundamentally we're too stressed. Any tool we can use to deal with the stress and the emotions will work, you know. They're good things to have, whether there's much scientific rigor behind it or not. So yeah, I've been doing that. My tinnitus has been generally quieter, but this morning, and my sleep pattern's fucked again. It's always varying up and down, you know. It generally is much better than it was before I started looking into this stuff more and more, you know, getting the body more in line, all that kind of thing. But it's still varied, and it had been pretty bad recently, you know, just I was waking up when after the sun had gone down, and going to sleep when it was getting up, which fucks with your head. It really does. And that's why I haven't been doing much music stuff the past week. But yeah, so what was I getting at? Until I'm back on form, I'm getting sidetracked. Yeah, I had a spike this morning. Out of nowhere. My tinnitus, it was just roaring crazy loud in my left ear. I have no idea why, but the anxiety feeling was there with it. So there's something physical going on there, because I don't get anxious about my tinnitus these days. But it was there, and it was very real, and it was kind of a feeling of, oh, why is that there? Is it getting worse? All of that stuff that I'm sure all of you have felt at some point. That was all there with it, which confused the hell out of me, and it was really weird. It was like I was in, you know, not split personality, but two minds, because I could feel that stuff going on, you know, oh my god, that's loud, why is it there, you know, how's it happening, I'm trying to sleep, and then my conscious mind, my view on it, which was just, well, this is a stage I haven't been in for a while. I wonder what triggered that. It's really weird, but it's completely gone now, you know, it's completely back to normal, you know, back to whatever, yeah, quiet, even, I would say. At the moment I can hear, let me think, I can hear a very quiet, dull roaring, you know, like a rumble type sound in the background. That might be normal. I can't fucking remember if that was there before I got the tinnitus in the first place or not. I can hear a general hiss, and then this very light, modular type tinnitus sound, which that sound is the spike, and that is quiet as hell at the moment, actually. And yeah, it's on and off, and it's quiet enough that I don't really notice it flicking on and off either. I've got to listen for it. Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, and like I say, this morning, you know, 6 hours ago, it was roaring. It was completely roaring away in my ear. I don't know why, but I'd had something similar since I started doing this tapping stuff. It was an emotional thing. It was an emotional reaction. I spent a day where I was just basically completely, inconsolably anxious. I couldn't tell you what about. I couldn't tell you where it come from, because that doesn't happen, you know, at all. I mean, I could go into the details of, you know, what I'm like emotionally and that sort of thing, all the internal stuff, but, you know, this is looking like it might be a 20-minute video anyway. But yeah, so just, I had a day like that, and I think that's actually a good thing. Because, you know, most of us tinnitus sufferers have to deal with we're dealing with the freeze response. It's why we're in this situation. And I'm starting to break through it a bit, you know, dealing with those first layers. And this tapping stuff, I find it really interesting to do. I don't know if anyone recommends it like that, but I do that. And because all these problems connect in my head, I just, you know, raffle through the lot. Basically, I tend to just sit and go through it to whatever health ailment, whatever emotional issue it is I'm feeling. I do that, and it does. It, you know, a physical feeling in the gut. It makes me feel better. I don't know why. I don't know if there's any science to it, if I'm fooling myself, but that's a really cool thing. And it got me out of that stage I was at with the meditation where I was sort of trying to, you know, hammer it with it. Just, I'm going to do this meditation and my body's going to get better, as if I'm in charge of it like that, you know. Which, yeah, the problem with our tinnitus fundamentally is that the mind and the body are out of sync. They're not lined up, you know. We're repressing emotions. We're not addressing stresses in our lives, to the point that a lot of you will think, what stress? You know, the only stress I've got is the ringing. Which, you know, I can completely believe you believe that. But if the tinnitus is there, there's something going on to cause it. And I got to do a video about the physical stuff as well, because I've been talking a lot with a bunch of people, you know, professionals, I think, about jaw stuff, you know, that kind of thing. And yeah, there's a definite connection with that and the tinnitus, so I'll do another video for that. But yeah, the point for the time being was just basically an update on my progress. Just, it's generally been very quiet. I think it's been about 3 months since I had any kind of anxiousness or spike with my tinnitus, which is incredibly good. That's an incredibly good sign I'm on the right track if I'm not noticing it, you know, if it's not being a problem or anything like that. Just I really haven't worried about my tinnitus the past few months at all, you know. It's still there, I still think about it, I'd still like to cure it, but basically I could completely comfortably live my life with it at this level, no question, variations and all, you know. And that's a wonderful thing, you know, unbelievably, that's the stage I think everyone would like to get to with it. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. I've had a spike this morning, so I'm gonna look into that a bit, see what could have caused that. I'm not too sure off the top of my head. I'll have a think, but yeah, so just, my tinnitus is doing good overall, you know. I'm trying that stuff with different approach to meditation, just trying to get the brain to calm down. You know, you're trying, if you want the words, you know, what it is I'm trying to do, it's trying to get the brain to vibrate slower. You're trying to get into the alpha state, where you become more suggestible, and I'm trying to just get into that state so that I spend more time out of the high-end state during the day, the worried one, the one that will tend to stimulate, you know, your sympathetic nervous system. I'm trying to get out of that. I'm not trying to do anything magical with the meditation, just trying to spend less time in that higher brainwave state. So that through the rest of the day, you know, any thoughts I have, any positive habits I'm trying to cultivate emotionally, so that they have more staying power, basically. But it might take a video by itself. I think this one's just turned into a rambling update on my own progress. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm trying that tapping stuff. It's working really well. I'd recommend giving it a try. It'll be on the list in future to anyone that asks me, you know, what type of stuff can you do? You know, obviously, yeah, meditation, yoga, tai chi, qigong. And yeah, I definitely put the tapping stuff on that list. To me, it seems much more direct. It seems much more to the point of what we're trying to do. And yeah, I'd recommend giving it a go. If it works, great. If not, doesn't matter. There's a million other things you can do, you know. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Just tinnitus is doing good. It's not bugging me too much, even though I had a spike earlier. That's no big deal. Yeah. It's nice to make another tinnitus video again. So yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. I really do. Please update me on how you're doing with yours. You know, let me know if my videos have helped or anything like that. Or if anyone else's have, please let me know. And yeah, it's good talking to you guys again. So, I'll catch you in the next video. Might not be too long, but yeah. See you in the next one. Bye.